The Ercoupe is an American low-wing monoplane aircraft that was first flown in 1937 at the College Park, Maryland airport. It was first manufactured by the Engineering and Research Corporation, or Erco, and its name derives from a contraction of Erco and coupe, Ercoupe. The mission of the design was to be a safe, easy-to-fly airplane for the amateur pilot. Following the rather underpowered prototype, production models were powered by the then-new 65-horsepower Continental A65 horizontally opposed four-cylinder engine. It was designed without rudder pedals and was flown using only the control wheel. A two-control system linked the rudder and aileron systems, which controlled both yaw and roll. The control wheel controlled the pitch and the steering of the aircraft, both on the ground and in the air, thereby eliminating the need for rudder pedals. Essentially, it drove like a car. This meant that the Civil Aeronautics Administration, or CAA, had a special pilot certificate for pilots who learned to fly in an Ercoupe, since they had never used a rudder pedal. There was also an option for floats. The Ercoupe entered production shortly before World War II, but after making only 120 airplanes, production was discontinued because of the war. Erco redesigned the plane to be made out of non-strategic materials, mainly wood, in order to fulfill military contracts for aircraft for the civilian pilot training program, and many Ercoupes served in the Civil Air Patrol. The military did take one example as the YO-55 for evaluation, and in 1941, an Ercoupe would be the first airplane to test RATO, or rocket-assisted takeoff. After the war, production resumed with over 4,000 planes being sold from 1945 to 1946. But in late 1946, sales slumped and the company began to fail. In 1947, they sold the operation to Sanders Aviation, who would continue making the airplane. The Ercoupe was always being developed, but in 1950, after making 213 units, Sanders sold the Ercoupe operation to Univair Aircraft Industries, who merely supported the current fleet. In 1955, Univair sold the Ercoupe type certificate to the Forney Aircraft Company, later called Fornair Aircraft Company. Fornair upgraded the design to a 90-horsepower engine and made other improvements to include aluminum-covered wing panels. The F1A model had a normal 3-axis control system, that means rudder pedals. Production began in 1958 and ended just a year later in 1959. The Ercoupe type certificate was again sold in August 1960, this time to the Air Products Company of Carlsbad, New Mexico. The company was actually started by the city of Carlsbad with the hope of establishing aircraft manufacturing as a local industry, but only a few airframes were produced before the type certificate was sold to Alon Incorporated in 1964. Alon made 25 of the F1A Forney trainers before introducing their own version of the Ercoupe, the A2, followed by the A2A. Alon made 245 new planes with continual upgrades until the entire company was bought out by Mooney Aircraft of Kerrville, Texas in 1967. There have been about 16 variants of the Ercoupe, and the final model, the Mooney M10, first flew in 1968, and the last model year was 1970. Identifiable by its sliding canopy and single tail fin, it was the ultimate evolution of the type that was designed to be the safest fixed-wing aircraft that aerospace engineering could provide at the time, and it might have achieved that goal if training standards had not been lowered for Ercoupe pilots. Ironically, a 1952 study showed that the sweet little airplane had the highest accident rate in its category at 10.2 per 100,000 hours flown. There have been fatal crashes, including some in-flight breakups. The accidents have often been attributed to pilot error and poor procedures, possibly promoted by the belief that the plane is so safe. In a nutshell, the pilots get complacent. That said, the little airplane remains popular with pilots who want an aircraft that you can slide down the windows, hang out your elbow, and tootle across the sky in.